Hello all, I am William S. Jagetz, founding principal with Family Financial Management Practice. We are a wealth management firm focused in areas of tax planning and estate planning. Here on the Collector's Life YouTube channel, we talk about issues around legacy planning for art collectors and artists. It's been 2 months since I've posted. It was tax season, and here I know that I will have to have some content in the bucket, as it were, so that we can continue to release videos during the tax season. I want to mention this artist and this artwork. Young man's name is David Coleman Jr., and that's a diptych that I just acquired by him at the Moody Jones Gallery. He and Curtis Grayson have a show there. If you're in the Philadelphia area, go see that exhibition. It's really good. Both those gentlemen are really strong artists. David Coleman Jr., who's a really excellent storyteller. And the way he tells stories with his images is just incredible, and he's technically proficient on top of that, and a really nice cat. So get by there. I'll leave links in the description so you can get another look at David Coleman's work, Curtis Grayson's work, and a link for the Moody Jones Gallery so you can get by there and buy some art. I got a question from a viewer and wanted me to talk about art as an asset class, and he had a question about fractional ownership. So I am going to answer those. I'm going to respond to those, but I'm going to start with my feeling on art and art in the financial context is in alignment with that of Arthur Schopenhauer, who was a philosopher, 19th century. And Arthur Schopenhauer was of the opinion that life is hard, and it is driven by striving and surviving, and it's rarely pleasant, and there's just a lot of struggle on a day-to-day basis, which is less so now, but still, art, as said by Mr. Schopenhauer and concurred fully by myself, is a respite from that. That's meditating on art is a respite from the harsh world, and it should be that. And when you take the blessing that is art and commoditize it and take something away from it, from the purpose of it, from the reason why we do it, there has to be some commerce around art, because artists got to get paid, and if I want it, I have to pay for it. And if you want it from me, you got to pay me for it. So I'm not against the market for art, but treating art as a financial instrument it's not okay. It's not good. It's not nice. It just takes something away from the spiritual healing element of what it actually is. So that's my thought. But it also exists, the financial markets and the participation of art in said markets. So we will talk about it. Let's talk about art as an asset class. Your assets are things that you own, And, versus your liability is what you owe. And the difference between those two numbers is your net worth. So, assets, liabilities, net worth, or net worth. So, if you own art, it is an asset. And it is a different class of asset. Assets have different classes. Some are liquid, some are illiquid, and some have intrinsic value. Some only have exchange value. And as art is an asset. Now, as a class, it's got to be considered illiquid. It also has to be considered as not having intrinsic value, which, by definition, that's the case, but realistically, it's very valuable, aside from, the dollar amounts. So, what that means, intrinsic value, property, you own a house, the house has a financial value, and that'll go up or that'll go down. Regardless of what the house is worth, it's a thing you can live in. So that's its intrinsic value. You can live in the house. If you own Walmart stock, the stock price goes up, the stock price goes down. It's going to change from day to day. It's going to change several times a day. But regardless what the stock price is, what the share price is for Walmart on any given day, Walmart is an existing business, a going interest. And if you go to a Walmart, there are a lot of people in there buying things and, conducting business. So that is its intrinsic value aside from its stock price or its financial value. Now, of course, one impacts the other. Lots of people buying stuff at Walmart means the stock price will go up. But if the stock price goes down for some reason that has nothing to do with the business going on inside Walmart, then the business is still going on inside Walmart. If the value of your house goes down because of, neighborhoods, weather, or whatever, just general housing markets, interest rates, blah, blah, you still live there. So the intrinsic value remains, the financial value changes. Art falls where it falls in that, because even though, spiritually and, I'm loath to say decoratively, it has intrinsic value, that is not really a strong argument for that, because you can live without it. Not that anybody should, but art has a financial value, less intrinsic value, which puts it stuff like what else? Cryptocurrency, zero intrinsic value, absolutely useless, worthless. But financial, because somebody's willing to pay for it. If you got it, you can sell it. If you don't have it, you can't buy it, and you can't exchange $1 for it. So it has a financial value, even though it has zero intrinsic value. It would apply to most collectibles. So anything from, Beanie Babies, I just aged myself there, to fine art, to it would definitely include cryptocurrencies. Have low intrinsic value, but they do have financial value. Actually, an actual dollar bill, that's a good one. A dollar bill, other than you can give it to somebody and they'll give you stuff for it, it has no intrinsic value. It's ugly and dirty and useless. But like I said, somebody will give you something for it, so it does have financial value. You are a collector, it impacts your net worth. So the value of your art added to the value of everything else you own, stocks, bonds, cash, real estate, etc., increases your net worth. It is an asset class. It is not an investment. There's nothing, because it has, such little intrinsic value, all you can really do is hope somebody wants to pay more for it than you did, and that will increase its value. But there's not much that you can do or the art itself does that increases its value. So, art goes up because economies do well and people have more money to spend freely on things like art. So the prices go up. Artists have good careers and collectors are interested in them, and they're associated with galleries who do good work as far as their marketing and making us aware of who they are and what they're doing and where their work can be seen, etc. On top of the work itself being good. That's absolutely necessary. But those are the things that impact the art markets and the prices. But I gotta tell you, there's nothing under it or behind it that you can see coming, as it were, with, let's say, bonds. So you buy a bond, it's got a rating. The rating's based on the creditworthiness of the company or entity that issued the bond, and they are going to pay the interest on the bond, and at the end of its life they're going to repay the principal. So you can look at external factors and assess what a bond is worth based on the ongoing creditworthiness of the issuer, based on the interest rate in comparison to the prevailing interest rates at the moment. You can look at your Nvidia stock and, are they making a lot of chips? Are they selling a lot of chips? Are companies producing things that need chips? Are their chips good? So these are all things that you can look at and make some assessment with some degree of accuracy, not 100% clearly, because markets do go up and down, but you can look at the company, you can look at the bond issuer and assess what the future prospects are as far as the business that they conduct, or the promise to repay with interest in the terms of bonds. With art, there's none of that. There's none of that. There's no Sydney Kane. I don't know what she's gonna do to make the price of that picture go up. Why does she even care if the price of that picture goes up? I already bought it. So, I love it. I'm happy to have it. She's glad I have it. If the price goes up, it, feels like I made a good choice, and I like that. But I would never have bought this thinking I'm gonna need that money later. Amokable, brilliant artist, beautiful work, incredible gallery, incredible management, incredible story. This work sold for like, I don't know, $189 million a few years ago. Now, you scarcely get $2 million for the same piece. He didn't get worse. He's, still incredible. And if you can get one, you absolutely should put your hands on it. The work is beautiful. He's a phenomenal artist. But, the people who overpaid, they just overpaid. And there was no way for them to know they were overpaying, because, it went from 50 to 100 to 180, and it looked like it was never going to stop, and then it stopped. And there was nothing about the art or the artist that made it obvious that was going to happen. Facts, right now, the economy is better. The general economy globally is better than it was when that work was selling at outsized, phenomenal prices. Now, the economy is better than that, but the market for that work is, has gone down. I attended an auction recently, and a lot of the art there, it was hot. It was hot 10, 12 years ago, which is not that long. And it went, a lot of it went unsold. The paddles just did not wave. There were a couple, notably a Pervis Young, notable to me because I just got one. But Pervis Young piece went for like 7 times estimates, and there were a couple, but overall, like one really famous artist who's brilliant and well celebrated, the work was pulled. They pulled it because there was no interest. If you bought that work, actually, yeah, it wasn't that long ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, she was getting record prices, at auction. I have clients who were selling her work at auction, not because they wanted to sell it, but because the realized gain at that time was just irresistible. Like, you can't not take the money. So they took the money. A few years later, like whoever bought that 4 or 5 years ago, they got to be suffering now. Now my client that sold it, they won. But the person that bought it, it's at auction and nobody's waving the paddle. What happened? There's nothing that the artist did wrong. She's at home living her best life, continuing to do brilliant, amazing work. It's nothing that she did that impacted that. Nothing she could do to undo it. It just happened. Art is not an investment. There's nothing that you can look at to predict what is going to happen. But here's the thing. This applies to everything across the board, everywhere, all of the time. If you can name an example, or 3 examples, or 10 examples, it's because those are outliers. That's why you can name them, because that's the thing that doesn't happen. The fact that you can name those examples means that they're outliers. Because if you look at it, there's a lot of art in the world. A lot. Most of it's not doing that. So, buy art. Love it. Cherish it. Steward it for future generations. This is a cultural repository. And it has to be cared for. It has to be loved. And it should be acquired by people and institutions who understand that. We are those people. And we are those institutions. So don't buy art for financial gain. Buy good art, love it, care for it, enjoy it, share it. That takes us to the other question, which is about fractional ownership, which it's a bad idea. Let's say there's a Picasso and it's $10 million. But if we all got together for $20,000 a piece, then we could come up with $10 million and buy it. And why would we do that? Because the art market is hot. At the moment it's not, but generally, this is when these things happen, when they're talked about, when the art market is hot. So what you would hear is, oh yeah, the art market is hot. This Picasso was like $10 million, and there was another Picasso, and somebody, bought it for $15 million, and it just sold for like $40 million. So let's all pool our funds and buy this Picasso, and we'll be the next ones to ride this wave out of here. That's the theory. So here's how it breaks down. The actual artwork, the Picasso painting, is going to be owned by 100, 200 different people. And where's it going? We're not passing it around. It's not going to hang here for a month and then I got to, send it over to your place. It's going to be in some Freeport storage, shipyard in some financially neutral country. You can't even take your friends to look at it. It won't even be in a museum or a gallery. It's just there. Now, you have the privilege of owning a 1/200th share of a Picasso, but you'll never see it. And any and all the reasons why you buy art aren't there. There's no interaction, there's no care, there's no love, there's no nothing It's just you hoping that the price of this thing goes up and that somebody else decides to sell it at the right time. That's the other thing. It's somebody else that decides to sell it. Let's say Sotheby's just sold a Picasso for $80 million. And we're thinking, oh, well, our $10 million Picasso's got to be worth 60, 65, $80 million, right? That's what it just went for at auction. So, let's sell it. Let's get that money. Some planning entity, because this is the other thing. Let's go back a step. The 200 people, we're not all sitting around in a room together, okay? There is one broker, planning entity, salesperson who's calling all these people and getting them to send money and retaining control over what happens. So that is the person or entity who will decide when it sells. They sell it, offer it to the market, because this is not a stock. Nvidia stock is at $850 or somewhere around there. So I could, right now, whip out my phone and sell my Nvidia stock and get $850 a share. No question, because that's what it is, and there is a market for it. With fractional ownership, once the deciding entity, who is not you or I or any of the 200 people who have contributed to the purchase, once they decide to sell it, it goes to market and it will get what it gets. Like the art market is nebulous. The stock market's a real thing. You can go click a sell button and you'll sell it at the price that prevails at the moment. So what are we doing? And here's the other thing. It might not even exist. Everything I just said assumes that this is a legitimate transaction. But since nobody's ever going to touch it, nobody's ever going to see it, this Picasso painting could just be an image on your computer screen. Somebody else might own it. Some Russian oligarch might own it, and we just managed to get a picture of it. Now we think we bought it, and we didn't even. Fractional ownership of art as an investment tool is stupid. There's nothing good about it. If you really love art and have a passion for it, you want to see it, touch it, have it in your home, and really be with it. So you're not even falling for this. But there are people who think they like art and think they're interested in the art market. And those are the people who are preyed upon. This has nothing to do with art. Like, subscribe, share. Oh, and ask your questions. Like I said, this one came from a viewer. So thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of your whatever time of day this is. And I'll see you in about 2 weeks. Be good.